Countryside. It's Joe Smith, your general manager, and I'm here with Mike McDonald, the chair of our construction committee. I think everyone knows you by now, Mike.
Yes,
I would hope so.
Yes.
But thanks for joining me on camera again, as usual. We've got another update, and in the last 2 weeks, a ton of activity on site.
Yep.
And we've got a lot of good aerials that we'll drop into this this video. But why don't we start at that end of the building, which is the cart barn side of the building.
Sure.
And kind of work our way through the progress to the pool wellness center side of the building. So
in general, the construction manager is really hitting his stride. We have activity
big time
up on the roof, down on the ground, on ladders, on scaffold, everywhere.
Yeah.
We got work going. So at the north and west end of the building,
Yep.
we have site construction in progress for the last 2 weeks or so. So they've dug a trench probably 12 feet deep, 20 feet wide, 100 foot long.
Yeah.
And there's drainage structures, 2 foot diameter concrete pipe that picks up all the water off the roofs of the building. It actually gets all the water at the south end as well, which pipes around the back of the building, past the practice areas. So all this rain that we get in large volumes over long periods of time, it all flows into the lake by number one hole. But to get there, it has to be collected in structures and channeled. And there's a series of detention structures, et cetera. So all that work is underway, but it's very deep and it's a massive excavation. Structures the size of a Volkswagen going into the ground.
That's right, yeah.
Up on end. There'll be manhole covers and other things, but that works involves some rock removal. Once they got to the structure right by the putting green, they hit rock about 8 feet down, which our soil borings had showed us that where the building additions were going, but we weren't going that deep. Well, we didn't know these pipes would actually be in rock for part of the way. So they brought in another machine to chip rock. It's that flaky cap rock they call it, which is coral. I think of it as coral. So it breaks up very easy, and it's the same rock we see around the club, at the edges of our water features.
That's right.
So it's being trucked away, probably being resold, but we'll pay a small change order, I think, for some of that time, and we're tracking that.
Yeah.
But that's a massive operation at that end. Staying with site work at the other end, behind wellness, to the south of the wellness building, they've stripped all the blacktop, taken down some trees. They're getting ready to final grade, put the drainage structures down that end for our new parking lot, which goes from 24 cars to 48 cars. They haven't stripped the grass just outside the treadmills of the wellness, because that's where all the pipes and structures are being stored to be set in the ground. As soon as that area is clear, they'll finish that. And by October 1st, I would say safely, all the site work will be done, will be paved. We're not going to stripe till the end, because the contractors are still running over this paving. But the site for 6 to 8 weeks is in total turmoil. It's kind of a war zone in both locations.
Well, and Charlie, we've told Charlie that it's got to be done by October 1st, because we're trying to get all of this work done before the activity increases around the club with golf and whatnot. So he's confident he can still hit that date. But for those of you who have been here and have seen firsthand, everyone said, wow, that's an awful lot more work than we expected. Well,
we have over $1 million in site construction. Excluding pickleball and parking across the street. So, and this is what it is. This is what it translates to is...
It's everything underground. You don't see it.
But again, huge volumes of water, 6 inches in an hour sometimes, coming off our roofs and hitting all of our patios and parking lots. It's got to be collected safely, and honestly, the system worked well before. It's going to work well again. When I compare parts of Naples, the Lowe's parking lot up by Costco, 6 inches of water on their parking lot when you get one of these storms. The system's poorly designed. It's undersized. The water doesn't move off those lots in time. So you're driving through, this much water with your car, not a good thing. So our system, again, is going to perform as it did before. When this water comes, no matter how much and how fast, it's going to get into that lake. The only trouble I've seen here is when we have storm surge downtown, our lakes, which lead to canals, which lead to the Gulf, have backed up.
Yeah.
But that's because the final outflow is the Gulf of Mexico. So our system eventually feeds that in that direction.
Yeah.
And I've only seen us have backing up water, backflow, when the Gulf is just
Yeah, and it usually
over.
only lasts a day or two.
Correct. Yeah.
You know,
Even the last
overall.
hurricane only lasted 24 hours after the storm, when the streets were flooded from the Gulf all the way to airport pulling.
Right.
And all that water abated quickly when the tide goes out, et cetera. So anyway, it's a good system. This is what we deal with in Florida, is lots of rain versus all the other climate challenges that other people have. So, but yeah, that site work, it looks messier than it really is, because you got dirt piled up everywhere. And
yeah, we've got some great aerials that we'll put in, so those of you up north can see exactly what we're talking about.
But they're already backfilled, the first two structures.
Yeah.
Pipes are down, all that fill is back in place, compacted. So they're moving right along, other than the little bit of rock that they had to confront. So,
a lot of concrete work last week also?
Yes, we have all the interior slabs that were cut and trenched for piping.
Yeah.
Has all been patched. We're standing in the dining room right now.
Yeah.
We've got patches in front of us. We've got patches to our right. All the kitchen areas have been re-poured. Remember, we took the entire slab out of the old kitchen because there's so much piping and electrical work underground and drains and so forth. So all of that kitchen is finished, all patched up. We also poured the pool cafe, about 80% of it, because that slab has a pitch to it. Once you move, say, 4 feet away from the bar itself where the stools are, they'll be on level, but once you get past that, it pitches away.
That's right.
To the west, east, and south. So that rain that blows through the openings on a day like today, it's raining pretty good, but it's nice enough to sit outside. So that rain has to generally have a suggested direction.
Right.
If we pour flat, it doesn't actually end up flat. It ends up with low spots, and then you have big puddles. So you put at least a half to 1 inch of positive pitch. So I know we may have to still squeegee or broom it away, but
yeah, it's always the case, especially with the tile. It's not porous, so it doesn't absorb. But
so we're set now for the next pour, which will be in several segments. Because these tilted planes, they're ended up like they're slices of a pie. So you kind of have to pour every other one and then come back the next day and pour the others, because you're screeding off to that slope. So we're also, you'll see some formwork around the outdoor pool cafe bar, because all of that cabinetry and the front of the bar with the tile, that sits up on a curb. Again, so any rain that blows in, we've got a good 6-inch concrete base for everything to sit on. So none of that equipment is actually going to ever be in water.
Right. Charlie mentioned to me also that we have the same curb layout in the kitchen with the kitchen walls. So that'll be formed up in the future here.
Because we're going to have a epoxy floor, which is sanitary, easy to clean, bacteria inhibiting coating. That coating actually runs up the walls a few inches and up the curbs that we're going to pour for the equipment. So once again, you don't have a stove, unless it has legs on it. No piece of equipment will sit on the slab where it could be an unsanitary condition where the guys can't clean under it or around it. So if it doesn't have legs, it's going to sit up on a slab, a little raised slab area, and the epoxy coating will come right up the side.
That's right.
So again, it makes it sanitary from day one and easy to keep it that way.
Keep it clean,
We're waiting on trusses. The delivery date now is September 13th.
Okay.
Which is a Friday, so they'll be erecting on the 16th, Monday. And that's for the whole job. First, we had an early delivery at one end and a later delivery at the other. By the time we got all the fabrication drawings corrected with all the correct information on them, they were re-engineered by the manufacturer. So now we're just going to ship everything at one time. They're being fabricated, I think, in the Sarasota area, and a short drive down here.
So talk to me, while we're on the topic of roof trusses, there's been a lot of roof activity the last 2 weeks with tiles coming off the building. Talk to me a little bit about that.
So the roof contractor will not warrant the work if it's a partial piece of work. So if we took an old roof away, or a chimney in this case, and we left a lot of tiles there, but there's enough removed so they can attach the new roofs to it, they're not going to warrant that roof. So they said, we carried in our bid, we're stripping wherever there's a section of roof that's continuous. We're going to take all the tile off that roof, put a new waterproof membrane, frame the new roof structures into it, and then we'll tile the whole thing. So they don't want patches that are visually disturbing, where you got an old roof and a new patch here or there, and they don't want any discontinuity with the waterproofing. So, because I questioned the contractor as well, our CM, I saw there was one section roof that all of a sudden the whole roof was clear. Half the portico shear, there's really no work there, but it is continuous, and there's a new wall and parapet framing into that. So it's probably short dollars for them to just take the old stuff off, reapply a waterproof membrane.
Good for us.
Absolutely. We basically got a new roof in some areas where we thought we were just sort of patching. So yeah, absolutely puts us ahead in those areas. We still have large swaths of the old roof in place. So, because I know the committee was looking to get rid of the red roof and maybe do it a nicer color, but it just didn't really make financial sense. So in the end, we're going to end up with maybe 40 or 50% of the old roof is old, meaning 6-7 years old, will be upgraded. So that's been going on. I think they're complete on the north and west side. They're still working on the south and east side. Again, wherever a new roof is coming in, touching an old roof, they basically cleared off all areas in the same plane. So the valleys and hips will all go in clean. So again, generating a lot of waste. So dumpsters have been going out, tons of material, and that's all good.
A lot of construction traffic in and out recently. A lot.
Now, we did save some roof tiles in the early stripping. They saved some. Any full tiles, not all the triangles and little wedges of material. So we have some old, if there's some small area they need to patch, and they want it to match to the best extent it can. You know, these roofs fade, and the sun hits them in different ways. The south side gets the most sun, obviously. So
I think, and again, we've talked about this, you know, we replaced the roof in 19. So it's really, by standards of roofs in Florida, it's not old. And I don't think we're going to see much fading at all. So
and then really the waterproofing is the membrane, not the tile is actually shading the membrane so that the UV doesn't break down the waterproofing barrier. So interesting concept how that works. But so that's moving along well. So I think we're all ready for trusses at both ends, but the slab, as soon as this pour is complete, which I think is this week or next, the rest of those walls will go up at the perimeter, and that's what supports the trusses. So they still have about 2 weeks of work to do masonry and tie beams.
We should see some block work on the pool cafe in this end of the building the week of Labor Day, towards the end of that week? Okay.
And I think it'll only take them about a week to get that perimeter up.
Yeah, they go quick.
Yeah, that's less.
It's like Lego blocks.
Work. Well, they have quite a crew size, too. They probably had 20 guys here, and actually there was a woman here as well on the masonry crew. Doing the finish work of the joints and the brushing off. So they hit it like a small army, and that was why they were really moving.
So if everything goes to plan, the trusses show up on the 13th. We could start seeing both ends of the building start to take shape with the roofs the following week, the 16th.
16th, probably. Those trusses probably 2 days to set them.
Excellent.
Because they have to bring in an expensive crane, and they want to get it all done once.
It's another great milestone.
Absolutely.
That's
and then
another really great milestone.
Plywood and waterproofing, and now we'll be dry inside. And that means doors and windows are going to go in, and stucco. So we're definitely on target for November 1st for this building to look finished on the outside.
That's that's incredible.
You bet.
That's incredible. It's gonna be, we've mentioned that in the past, but I think again coming up on this season in that time frame, seeing that members are going to just be so excited.
Plumbers and electricians continue. They're working inside. They're working outside. The last pour of slab is all the new kitchen areas, the main electrical room, the new bathrooms that serve the pool cafe and the swimming pool area. All that's been roughed in. The poly's down. We're ready for pour tomorrow if they want to, but I'm not sure with the rain. But we're getting ready to complete that section of pour. So that finishes all the under slab work. It's all roughed in. It's all stubbed up, capped, labeled, pull strings, the whole thing. So looking good. Site's
Like,
still a mess.
we're at the point, and I don't mean to interrupt you,
Yeah.
but we're at the point where it's like every week that goes by, we're seeing more and more activity.
Oh, yeah.
And more happening, which
Yeah.
I think is just, it's encouraging. I know it's encouraging for you and the committee.
Yeah, we were a little stymied by the flow of information.
Yeah.
So we ended up adding a meeting every
Right.
Thursday.
Yep.
We still do our full committee meetings twice a month, but on the off weeks, we run a Zoom conference call meeting.
Check-in.
We ask the superintendent, what do you need this week? Who owes
Yeah.
you information? So by implementing that in the first 3 meetings of that sort, we cleared up all the backlog of questions.
Yeah.
All the fabrication drawings are now completed back to all the manufacturing
Right.
companies. So there's really actually nothing in the queue right now. There's no unanswered questions. There's no unreviewed fabrication drawings. So we're back ahead of the game.
Yeah. Kudos to you and the committee.
Well, we saw that it was a choke point. It's a normal thing where everything's coming in for the architect to review all at one time. The roof, the samples, the drawings, the doors and windows, the hardware.
right.
Everything was really starting to get overload that company, and the contractor was getting a little frustrated that he didn't have all the answers he needed.
Yeah.
So those extra meetings in the last month really cleared it out. And
Time well spent.
yeah,
for sure.
Yep. And
sure.
good on the committee for recognizing that and getting right on
Yeah.
it.
You guys earned your paycheck.
Yes. Still waiting for that first direct deposit.
So excellent. Well, gosh, what are we missing here? That's a good overview of the last couple weeks.
Yep.
As we look forward, got some more concrete work, got roof trusses. Anything else major that
Well, we're
see?
monitoring our electrical gear for October 10th.
It's another milestone, right?
Huge milestone for us.
Yep.
Long lead item, several months.
Right.
We're checking that every week to make sure it's still coming on the promised date.
Yep.
If and when it does meet that date, we'll have 2 weeks to energize it because the room will be complete, it'll be dry. That puts us at November 1st with main electrical on for the building, and that means we can turn on the air conditioning systems.
Excellent.
That equipment the air conditioning equipment is in the warehouse of the contractor.
Okay.
As soon as the flat areas of the roof are done, they'll set the curbs, flash them in, and put the units up there. Rough them in electrically, and then they'll just wait for that November 1st, turn the power on, and we can start air conditioning the interior.
Perfect.
So that's a huge milestone for getting into the interior work. Everything that's moisture sensitive, which is sheetrock, painting, finished
Flooring,
materials, flooring, all the ceiling construction.
That's right. Yeah.
So there's a lot of ceiling work in this job. The designer that we picked, all his clubs have very decorative ceilings. Really adds a nice level of finish to a job. So we have very well-articulated ceilings in the pool cafe, the dining room, the atrium, and the Lakeview Lounge. We have false beam work. We have recesses. We have nice lighting.
It's going to be gorgeous.
So, yeah, it's a classy solution.
Yeah.
So all of that has to happen once the space is conditioned and we pull all the moisture out of it.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome.
So that's the whole track we're on. The pool, I think I misspoke in one of these. It does look like December, January, February for the pool.
Okay.
So they're basically going to back their way out of the site work.
Right.
So we'll get some patio work and maybe even some planting roughed in. And as they back out to the south through the new parking lot, they'll do the pool.
Makes sense.
It's a big job. We have over $1 million in that work.
Right.
The pool itself's maybe $600,000. The patio is several $100,000. The fencing, the planting, the
equipment,
the electrical work so we can have musical performances and you can run a buffet and all that. So it's quite a intricate area of site.
Yeah.
There's kind of a ramp sidewalk that goes up to it. There's some low walls.
Yeah.
A lot of work there. So that's the last major outdoor piece of work, but that's slated for the turn of the year, and I think bringing us to early March for most of the completion.
Right.
A lot of inspections in the month of March right now, and then we'll look for a closeout by end of March. So
it's going to be here before we know it.
It's moving quickly now.
Yeah, I can't believe it. So
I think that's what's ahead of us.
Excellent.
And, the quality's really good. I know we have several of our committee members have been, when they're on site, they look at what's going on. Our plumbing expert, Larry, and our electrical experts, Sal and some of our GC experts
Yeah.
have been by, and I would concur that the work is very well done. I don't see anything at this point that I'd say needs to have another look.
That's awesome.
So that's key to not looking backwards on anything.
Sure.
That it's been a well-managed effort, and it's getting more complicated by the day.
So excellent. Well, we're under your charge, and I think I know myself, and I can speak on behalf of the community and of course the board. We've got all the confidence in the world in how you guys are managing it. So thank you.
Sure.
Before we close out, I do just want to throw a round of applause or kudos to the community. Those of you who have been here and have dealt with the disruption that we've had the last 2.5, 3 weeks, y'all have done a great job. So thank you for working with us, following the signage, keeping the area safe as you're traveling to and from first hole, 18th hole, so and so forth. We will have another adjustment at some point. So just we'll communicate that, and of course Mike Batter and Stephanie and the golf team have just done a great job helping coordinate that. So excellent. Mike, am I missing anything? We capture it all?
Financially, we're in good shape. I know we've been reporting monthly to the board.
Yep.
We have a contingency just under $500,000. So
strong.
we're expecting to do some of the upgrades that are on our list, things that we had to pair out for our value engineering.
Right.
So we're you and I are looking at some roll down screens.
That's right.
With hurricane rating.
That's right.
For the pool cafe. We've got the old bathrooms that we want to do some things to, and want to fix up the front of the building. So barring any additional surprises, and usually by this point in the project, once you're out of the ground, there shouldn't be anything that we really couldn't foresee.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty confident we'll have some money in the contingency accounts, and before the contractor leaves, we'll implement the things that are on the priority list that we've been speaking to the community about.
Excellent.
So good to be on solid footing financially as well.
Feels good. Great.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, Mike, as always, we appreciate the time.
Sure.
Countryside, you know where to find us if you have questions, comments. Again, website's a great source of information, but feel free to reach out to myself or Mike or any one of our committee or board members. We'll see you in a couple weeks with some more exciting updates.
Indeed.
And I'm sure I'll see you around the club real soon if you're here. Otherwise, we appreciate you watching these videos, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.